Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Theater of the Miraculous and the Art of Becoming a Witch. How to awaken, remember, and trust the memory of reverence and devotion. Reverence and devotion are our sixth witch art gift. In our sixth Mystica University Intensive, as we walk the sixth circuit of her original sacred Paleolithic 7-circuit labyrinth. We've been looking at this list for 3 years. And looking at it now, I can almost come to tears. Look where we are. We have awakened our body's magnificent intuition. We have crisscrossed the thresholds between worlds. We have fallen in love with prayer, real prayer, original prayer. We have met ourselves as Miraphor anointers. We have awakened our oracular, prophetic, sacred divination abilities. And now we step into the sixth witch art of devotion, all of these carrying us to the great mystery of 7, dragon. We're going to meet one another, our little international community, next Tuesday, August 5th. We don't have to be neurotic about ending at 3:17, but we think it's adorable to be together for 77 minutes. I will send an email. This is on Kathy's Dragon Zoom, but save the date now. Next Tuesday, we get to meet one another and talk about stepping into reverence and devotion. Today, we are here for our opening celebration, and it is a rich, ecstatic celebration, a celebration of who we are and who we are becoming. We begin, as we started in divination, with our remembering ceremony. This is a PDF on our resource page. This prayer was given to me on the vernal equinox of 2018, not knowing what it really meant. This moment, that first tinkle before I know it's rain, oh, it's rain. That first breath before I know I'm awake. That first sip before I know what I'm tasting. That first sniff before I know I am on fire. That first chord of silent music, I'm not sure I hear it, can't quite catch the tune, but my heart knows it. My heart knows it by heart. That spinning moment when the clear road fades and then disappears. But my feet keep walking, I know not where. That dropping moment when the floor between worlds cracks open, I stumble, I trip, I plummet, I land, and everything has changed. That moment when I realize you are here. That moment when I realize you never left. One moment, our moment, this moment. I am beginning to remember what I never forgot. This is our mantra. It started in Divination Art 5. It is continuing in Art 6 Devotion, and I have a feeling that it is preparing us to remember who we are, dragon. Let us populate our morphic fields. Jennifer will help us welcome ourselves with her crystal tones alchemy bowls. You're all muted, so you can say with Jennifer.
I, Morning Star, call my intuitive, mystic, prayer artist, miraphor, oracle, and priestess shaman selves to come to me in the once was and the not yet. To come to me in this moment. To help me remember what I never forgot.
Next, in our remembering ceremony, we remember something ecstatically important, foundational, as we open her libraries. Tony, White Cardinal, will open her library of fire. Henrietta, her library of air. Stone Woman, earth, and Meritaten water. These four opened these four libraries in ART5 divination. But everyone is welcome to open a library. If there's a particular element calling to you, let me know in the Facebook group or on an email. And when we gather next time, perhaps for other devotees, we'll open the libraries. But right now, White Cardinal, will you please help us open her library of fire?
First, in my prayer, I call on fire. Hello, fire, beautiful fire, fire of light, of warmth, of alchemy, a phoenix rising herself. Thank you for your light, warmth, and alchemy. Her library of fire is now open.
Second, in my prayer, I call on air. Hello, air, beautiful air, air of breath, air of wind, air of spirit, of Mother Creation herself. Thank you for breath. Thank you for wind. Thank you for spirit. Her library of air is now open.
Third, in my prayer, I call on earth. Hello, earth, beautiful earth, earth of substance, of growth, of tomb, of our mother Gaia herself. Thank you, earth, for substance, growth, death, and return. Her library of earth is now open.
Fourth, in my prayer, I call on water. Hello, water, beautiful water, water of life, of movement, of transformation, of primordial love herself. Thank you for life, movement, transformation. Her library of water is now open.
Take a moment. Look at these four elements on your altar and let them speak to you, surround you. Hear them, feel them, smell them, know them. All four of her sacred elemental libraries have heard our call, and they have answered, and they are here to help us remember what we never forgot. Next in our ceremony, we activate our anointing oil. Under the tutelage of Mary Magdalene, Emma Kupu Mitchell has created a magnificent oil called Remember. If you have this oil, get it out. You're welcome to order it. But if there's an oil you love, an oil that is calling you, I will help you awaken, remember, and trust, reverence, and devotion, then activate that oil. I will begin by spritzing the space around me, my altar, and filling us around the world with the sacred wisdom of remember. And then activating these oils, Emma taught us in ART4 to put a little on your fingertips. And in ART5, we received sigils. Is there perhaps a particular symbol you wish to put on your heart or your hands? Take a moment to begin this anointing process on your body. If you're not sure, ask the oil, where do you want to touch me? Emma has given us a delicious full description of all of the oils that Mary Magdalene has chosen. And under her guidance, we have written this invocation to the powers and spirits of all the oils. We begin with myrtle. I call upon the powers and spirits of myrtle, the gatekeeper of the sacred threshold, to help me release blockages from other worlds and other times. Breathe that in. Feel myrtle responding to your call. Help me release these blockages that I have been carrying lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And now with your help, Myrtle, they can go. Mary Magdalene gave us a great surprise with a second myrtle, lemon myrtle, myrtle lemon. So let us say, you can say this with me, everyone is muted. I call upon the powers and spirits of myrtle lemon to bring clarity and vibrance to my mind, my body, and my whole life. Feel that. Feel myrtle lemon with her exquisite high note, her high citrus note, entering your body, bringing clarity, vibrance, bringing us alive. This is an old friend if you've been in intensives with Emma and Kathy and I. Apoponics, sweet myrrh, a foundational feminine component of our anointings going back years. This is a dear friend. I call upon the powers and spirits of Apoponics, sweet myrrh, to transmute and transform everything longing to be realigned on the path to the sacred. Perhaps you'd like to put your hand on that picture and feel her power enter your hand. She is answering our call. She is here. She is transmuting and transforming everything in us that is begging to be realigned. And in the world we live in right now, everything is begging to be realigned to the sacred. This is Iris. We met Iris in the Cariad oil for ART4. She's extraordinarily powerful. And she really brought us the Cariad, the divine love of Yeshua and the Magdalene. So of course she's here. Let's call upon her. I call upon the powers and spirits of Iris to anchor the divine feminine in me, my body, my mystic family, my entire ancestral lineages. Just let her intense, deep, dark purple blue enter your eyes, reminding you that you don't have to ask the divine feminine to be anchored in you. You are the divine feminine. And this is a new surprise, and how adorable, coming to us through Emma on the island of Oahu. If you have been in any of Kahula Hela's intensives, you have seen that she starts by singing Oli and weaving a tea leaf over her sacred bowl. We get to welcome tea now ourselves. Say this with me. I call upon the powers and spirits of tea to clear away. Maybe you'd like to wave her, pretend you're holding one of her enormous 2.5 feet leaves, to clear away indecision, stagnation, and worry about the past and the future, that I may dwell in beauty, wonder, and peace in this moment. She is in our oil as a flower essence. And now we have 2 carriers. We know this carrier so well. I call upon the powers and spirits of calendula, Mary's gold, to anchor me in the love, wisdom, strength, and beauty of our beloved Magdalene. And I think this is the first time we've had grapeseed as a carrier oil. Let's call upon the powers and spirits of grapeseed and ask her to hydrate, regenerate, and restructure all that is parched in me, that I may blossom into the fullness and beauty of the whole and holy witch, the whole and holy shaman, the whole and holy priestess I came here to be. Now, with your exquisite anointed hands, eyes, body, let us speak a magician's anointing spell given to Kathy and me at the beginning of the witch sequence. Our Lady, Queen of Magicians, anoint me, all of me, that I may become the playful magician you made me to be and sing the song I came here to sing. Open my eyes, my raven eyes, that I may see who wants to be seen. But the truth is, I'm not seeing, I'm being seen. Open my ears, my raven ears, that I may hear who wants to be heard. But I am not hearing, I am being heard. Open my mind, my raven mind, that I may know what wants to be known. But I'm not knowing, I am being known. Open my dreams, my raven dreams, that I may dream what wants to be dreamed, but I'm not dreaming, I am being dreamt. Open my prayers, my raven prayers, that I may pray what wants to be prayed. But this is it still takes my breath away. I am not praying, I am being prayed. I am not praying, I am being prayed. Open my heart, my sacred heart, that I may love what wants to be loved, but I'm not loving, I am being loved. Open my womb, my sacred, sacred womb, that I may birth what wants to be birthed. Oh, but I am not birthing, I am being birthed. This is a particularly evocative statement as we step into the most wild, radical, mind-altering intensive we've had yet. If you think you're here to learn something, create something, or know something, look at this image. You're not birthing reverence and devotion. You're not learning reverence and devotion. Reverence and devotion is birthing you. Open my voice, my sacred voice, that I may speak what wants to be spoken. Now, we know this from 16 years of deep soul writing. I'm not speaking, I'm being spoken. Open my hands, my sacred hands, that I may write what wants to be written, but I'm not writing. I'm being written. Holy Mother, Queen of the living and the dead, pray me, sing me, dream me, sing me, anoint me into the fullness of the magician you know me to be, and guide me. Guide every single one of us into the holy use of these your most precious witch art gifts. It's such a profound anointing spell. We didn't say it in ART5 divination. We said the vagus nerve chant of safety. And much as I love that, I missed this. I missed sharing this magnificent anointing spell with you. And I think this anointing spell will be with us until our final days as dragon. We complete our remembering ceremony by blowing on our embers, and Dandelion will lead us.
We're going to light up our embers all the way down into the depths of our mitochondria. So look into your left hand and in your imaginal realm, see fire and air, and gently blow, waking them up. And in your right hand, see earth and precious water. Again, blow. And then take these embers and place them your heart, your womb, or wherever your body is calling for them. I am beginning to remember what I never forgot. We are beginning to remember what we never forgot.
And we complete, as we complete all prayers, by drinking water. We are going to meet water at a level we have never experienced before in ART6, reverence and devotion. Our reverence and devotion for water is going to explode open as we discover who water really is. But we have known this. We have known this for years. Water is life. Water is alive. And water is completely conscious. This water is holding and remembering everything that has been spoken, known or unknown, everything that has been prayed and seen and heard and felt. The fullness of our prayers in the remembering ceremony is in the water, way beyond any intellectual understanding we might think we have. So let us, as the blind Navajo shaman taught me 30 years ago, slowly and consciously drink this water with reverence, gratitude, and devotion to life. The Jewish invocation is l'chaim, to life. Everything we're going to experience in devotion is about life. So let us say to ourselves, to one another, and to life herself, L'chaim. The remembering ceremony is a PDF, and I highly recommend you print it out and say it every single day. Let it work its magic on you. More magic to come in invocations with Archangel Lucy and Michael. Jennifer is with us, so we get to hear her bring in Jeanne d'Arc en français. And then the bowls will invite all 7 of our oracles. Freddie?
Here in the theater of the miraculous, all having been created from the same stardust source energy, we send our voices to you, Archangel Lucy. We ask you, Lucy, be here with us, bless us, and guide us on our journey.
We send our voices to you, Archangel Michael. We ask you, Michael, please bless us on our journey.
Now is the time. We ask that you hold space for our co-creative power.
Thank you for showing us who you really are, because now we remember who we really are.
And thank you for connecting us to all that is. Now we joyfully experience the magical symphony vibrating with energetic life and radiant love.
We thankfully stand in our sovereignty. We own our powers and birth the new world.
Partner with us as we awaken, remember, and trust the memory of reverence and devotion. So it is. Let us begin.
And we begin as we always do, bringing in the greatest mystic witch of all time, Jeanne d'Arc. Jennifer?
Jeanne d'Arc, femme de mystère. Jeanne d'Arc, femme, mon cœur. Tu as écouté tes voix, j'écoute les miennes et tu m'appelles, fille, vas-y, 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 n'aie pas peur, je te précède, le chemin est libre, la couronne est à toi. Jeanne d'Arc, femme de mystère, Jeanne d'Arc, femme, mon cœur. Donne-moi le courage, accorde-moi la grâce de voir ce qui veut être vu, d'entendre qui veut être entendu et de faire ce qui doit être fait. Jeanne d'Arc, femme de mystère, Jeanne d'Arc, reine de mon cœur.
She is the queen of our hearts. Let us now welcome all of our oracles. And each one of them has a note on the labyrinth. Later, as the highlight of our opening celebration, you will hear Jennifer play the song of the labyrinth. But right now, let's welcome each one of our oracles with their special note.
Aurora, Oracle of Intuition. Mystica, Oracle of the Thresholds. Origina, the memory of prayer. Magdala, Oracle of the Sacrament of Remembering. Fortuna, Oracle of Oracles. Eterna, her memory of life. Lucia, Oracle of the Garden.
All of them are here. Their notes, their names, their guidance, their holiness. Take a sip of water and bring them fully into your body because you are all seven. Kathy and I wondered, how do we step into reverence and devotion? Is there something special? A prayer, a poem, a reading, something to set the tone? And Kathy will tell the story of how this particular poem, Singularity by Marie Howe, came to be our foundational, what's the right word, Kathy? It's like the opening chord.
To set the mood. I got this little book
Oh, let me
from my mom.
show the book.
From my mom for my birthday. This is a book by Maria Popova. She has a live gathering each year. She weaves together the science, the mystic, and the art world, be it movement or visual poetry, music, all of it. So in this book, this is from it's a precious little book. So she's chosen the poetry, and then she writes a little bit at the beginning before each poem and describes why she chose this poem. So this particular one is about the time frame in the 1960s when we were still wondering how the universe started. And the origin of the universe was explained by Stephen Hawking. And it kind of boils down to that every black hole holds these space-time singularities. These singularities have zero size, you can't measure them, and infinite density. So, wrap your mind around that. So these singularities inside the black holes are pushed and pulled by gravity, and they think that this is what created the Big Bang. The human mind is made up of these same energies, the same kind of molecules that can't be measured, but they're infinitely huge. Cells firing, electricity, neurons. So Stephen Hawking said, everything that ever was and ever will be was once a sizeless dot, this elemental singularity. So Marie Howe wrote this poem. She named it Singularity, and then in parentheses, after Stephen Hawking. We didn't have the singularity idea until Stephen Hawking came along. And here's the poem. Do you sometimes want to wake up to the singularity we once were? So compact, nobody needed a bed or food or money. Nobody hiding in the school bathroom or home alone, pulling open the drawer where the pills are kept. For every atom belonging to me, as good belongs to you. Remember? There was no nature, no them, no tests to determine if the elephant grieves her calf or if the coral reef feels pain. Trashed oceans don't speak English or Farsi or French. Would that we could wake up to what we were when we were ocean, and before that, to when sky was earth, and animal was energy, and rock was liquid, and stars were space, and space was not at all nothing. Before we came to believe humans were so important, before this awful loneliness. Can molecules recall it? What once was before anything happened? No I, no we, no one, no was, no verb, no noun, only a tiny, tiny dot brimming with is. All, everything, home.
That is a powerful prayer, and it definitely calls for water. That clearly bypassed any intellectual attempt at understanding singularity, and yet it's all in here. Is. Let's drink in is. What a magnificent way to begin. We have another, shall we say, not exactly human, foundational mood setting opening message, opening prayer, opening poem. Our beloved Dandelion, our oracle, she's going to bring us. You're going to meet Eterna in a moment. And Eterna would like to pull the first card, answer our first question in ART6 on reverence and devotion. Kathy?
So I started to get the sense that Eterna was really leading me around. And the question is, can you explain to us a little bit about how you're going to guide us through ART6, please? And this is the card that I received. She wanted the spacious tarot deck. This is nature and creatures and plants. And this message, this is not my my interpretation of the card. This came through me from Eterna. I am the vehicle, I am the driver and the passenger. I am the road, the river, I am the mountain, and I am the light. What does light mean to you? Light is a vibration. When you vibrate as I do, we make love stronger. Water takes the easy path and cannot be stopped. These are the choices you will make. Take the easy path. Do not become rigid. Flow with me. My light, as bright as the comet, can't be seen with your human eyes. Use your mystic eyes, your mystic ears, skin, heart, and tongue. You are the vessel. Follow me through these valleys. Your heart is light. Your ember is light. Your mitochondria is light. Each time you choose to follow your heart, embolden your ember, make your mitochondria twinkle. I will show you, so follow me. Grasp my fibers, hold on to my luminous strands, and come into my stream.
Well, is this the first time that one of our oracles has totally interpreted, just completely taken over? I have a feeling this is the first time.
I think so. Yeah. It's kind of fun, isn't it?
She's big. We are in that river, ready or not.
Mhm.
And it's water. It's water. And we're going to complete reverence and devotion by entering the water. So I, for one, need to drink that in because my brain can't. Whoa, this is going to be such a glorious. I've loved everything we've done in the witch sequence, but this is a whole new, well, you can just see it. If I imagine myself floating or in a tiny boat, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We are here in ART6 to discover reverence and devotion. But that leads a question. If we're here to awaken, remember, and trust devotion, what's devotion? Well, I went to the dictionary, but I wasn't surprised. This is another example, like prayer, like resurrection, like grail, like anointing, and surely dragon and witch. Every single one of these words is sacred and must be restored, renewed, and redefined, and it looks like we are the ones to do it. In the dictionary, if you condense it, the OED says that devotion is a religious observance and or worship directed to a special object. Well, you remember the definition of prayer? It's supplication of an external male God figure. So nothing's changed. And this is not what we are exploring in ART6. So there I am with my usual quandary of, excuse me, I need to redefine all these books. How do I redefine devotion? And the very next day, Mary Oliver's magnificent quote showed up in something I was reading. Listen, attention is the beginning of devotion. Okay, that sets us on a path. And as I was writing about attention is the beginning of devotion, I suddenly remembered that in 2011, I took a small group of deep soul writers to Costa Rica. And one of the women from Dallas, she told us that the night before she left for Costa Rica, she went to a talk that Mary Oliver gave. And she was ecstatic to share with us that Mary Oliver gave everybody 3 instructions. You want to live a beautiful life? Number 1, pay attention. Number 2, be astonished. And number 3, tell somebody about it. So I remembered these 3, and I looked hard again at that word attention. And thanks to Kathy bringing us in ART5, a deep, deep dive into Ian McGilchrist's ways of attending about the brain, we know something about attention. It is so much more than whatever the dictionary says about that word. Here's just 2 sentences from this little book, and if you don't have it, you need it. Attention is actually nothing less than the way in which we relate to the world. It doesn't just dictate the kind of relationship we have, it dictates what it is that we come to have a relationship with. That's a very profound sentence. So I knew that attention, with this deep right brain understanding, could help us find the essence, the heart, the real meaning. We're on the path. We're in that river, following our way to the true definition of devotion. But attention is not the whole story. There has to be something between attention and devotion, right? Because Mary Oliver said attention is the beginning. All right. So what comes next? As I pondered that in Deep Soul Writing, I was reminded that right after Prayer Artist arrived, and I was in the second of what ended up being 8 or 9 prayer intensives on Ho'oponopono, which morphed into Hana Ikapono. Well, we were in the middle of this one. And although Kahulahela and I didn't plan it, it turned out to be a really safe place for women to tell their sexual abuse stories. And they told them their stories, their parents' stories, their grandparents' stories, their children's stories. And I became angrier and angrier at what patriarchy, with its foundational lie that men, fathers, are ordained by God to be dominant in the family, the home, the church, every single aspect of life. And to maintain that domination, they are totally focused on one thing: controlling women's bodies. I was seething angry, and I could not find my way out. And I desperately needed to find my way out. So my divine feminine voice woke me in the night, clearly said in my left ear, the same ear that heard Prayer Artist, Janet, it wasn't a power structure. Before patriarchy, it wasn't a power structure. It was a reverence structure. There's our word. This word was given to me 7 years ago. And I have been pondering what is a reverence structure ever since. So even though I didn't know what a reverence structure was, I had no idea we would be discovering that on the 7 circuits of the Witch Sequence Labyrinth. But nevertheless, I began closing every single one of my intensives, asking everyone to join me in saying, her garden of reverence now returns in and through and as me. If you've been with me in some of those intensives over the 8 years, you've said this. Or maybe you're hearing it today for the first time. Say it. Say it out loud. Her garden of reverence now returns in and through and as me. Think about that. We have been saying this vow for 7 years. And so when the witch sequence began 3 years ago, and Our Lady Queen of Magicians said that the purpose was to heal the wasteland, this concept of a garden of reverence began to be real. That's what we're doing in the witch sequence. We are developing the witch art gifts to create and nurture and become and be that garden. In this intensive on reverence and devotion, we are going to remember Paleolithic, Neolithic, pre-humanoid times, ways of living in reverence and devotion long before patriarchy. And in our experiential journeys, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to return to her libraries, open the vaults, and receive 4 seeds. 1 from fire, 1 from air, 1 from water, 1 from earth, to plant in her garden of reverence. We're getting closer and closer and closer. And reverence is the key. We begin by paying attention. And when we pay attention, like Mary Oliver said, we're astonished. We will be astonished throughout this entire 77 days by the beauty, the wonder of what we see. And we cannot help but feel reverence for life. Reverence leads to a natural state of devotion, real devotion, not the OED definition, not religious observance, real devotion, not obligation, but a deep, abiding love. What did Eterna just tell us? When you vibrate as I do, we make love stronger. Attention leads to reverence. Reverence leads to real devotion. So we had these 3 words, and maybe it was really selfish of me, but I wondered if we couldn't make this new definition, this new way of viewing devotion, fit our Mobius strip. I love this Mobius strip so much. It's the symbol of mysticism that has somehow always been the perfect explanation for everything we're doing in the witch sequence. It was the illustration for Cariad love in ART4 on Myrrh 4 anointing. It was the perfect explanation or visualization of the once was and the not yet in divination. It became the heart and soul of our remembering ceremony. So I wondered, hey, if reverence leads to devotion and attention leads to reverence, what leads to attention? What leads to attention? The answer was immediate. And think about it for a second before I tell you the answer. You have been saying this prayer, have you not? Open my eyes, my raven eyes, that I may see who wants to be seen. Oh, but wait a second, I'm not seeing, I'm being seen. I'm not seeing, I'm being seen. So what comes before you paying attention to something? Write it down. Is there one word that would come before attention? Here's the word that came to me. Awareness. Awareness. Before you can pay attention to something and be astonished and fall in love with it and tell the world about it, you have to become aware. You have to be aware of something before you can begin to pay attention to it. But here's the mystery, right? Think about the prayer. I'm not seeing, I'm being seen. So think about this. What if you and I are not generating awareness? Something else is. Something is tapping on your heart and saying, look at me, look at me. I can lead you to reverence and devotion, but first you have to become aware of me. You are not choosing to be aware of something. Something is choosing to get your attention. So I sent the 4 words to Kathy, and look at this magnificent Mobius strip that she created us. So Kathy and I are on Zoom. We're talking about this Mobius strip and imagining, where are you going to put your finger? What if you reach out and put your finger before the word awareness? You're just going to start the awareness journey to attention and reverence and devotion, but you think you're putting your finger there, but you're not. Something is moving your finger. Something is saying, notice me, pay attention, become aware. So I shared all this with Kathy, and Kathy said, Janet, I can prove it. I can prove that you are not choosing, you are not deciding what to pay attention to. Something is choosing you. Here we go. The first wild story in ART6 on reverence and devotion. Kathy?
A little bit of backstory. I have an art practice that most of you know about called visual medicine with my teacher, Suzette Clough, who's in London. This practice has been carrying me in all the ways for 3+ years. It's a visual way to hear my voices, to ask for allies, to ask for help, to ask for inspiration. The way visual medicine works is varied. There are so many ways. And from day to day, the meanings that I get shift and change. The oracle that comes through visual medicine shifts the medicine, and it shifts the message according to who's watching and what do they need. It's always tailored to whoever's there paying attention. I have a collaboration in that class with a woman in Chile. Her name is Jennifer Wickham. And we get on Zoom sometimes and we talk about our visual medicine pieces and put things in context for each other. So she sent me this piece of visual medicine. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. What do you see here?" And I said, "I see a swan." And she said, "I don't see a swan." "No, no, you're wrong. What do you see here?" And I said, "Oh my God, I see the most perfect swan that I couldn't have painted to be more photorealistic than the abstract paint created for you there." And she said, "No, it's Smokey the Bear." I said, "Yeah, okay, I do see Smokey the Bear." And so I said, "Okay, on the right-hand side and the head and the face." So I created this while we were on Zoom to show her this most perfect swan. So yes, Smokey the Bear is there, and yes, a swan is there. So in the same WhatsApp conversation, she sent another one to me. And she said, "What do you see here?" And I said, "I see a nuthatch." And she's like, "What is a nuthatch?" She lives in South America. She doesn't have the same birds that I have. So I started talking about the nuthatch and telling her that they're kind of crazy little birds. I sent her this picture. They're funny. They stand upside down. They hide their seeds in the bark of trees. And remember the upside down part for a little bit later. She also had an eagle and a couple other birds actually in the same session. So we just put this down. And I hadn't gotten these kind of bird images, so I was a teensy little bit jealous. Later that day, I needed to refill our bird feeders. So I go out and I'm used to seeing the chickadees. They're kind of busy little birds and they're not very afraid of us. They move around in flocks and they'll even stay on the line when I pull the line down. They'll come really close, like they're just saying, "Hurry, hurry with the seeds." And they're not afraid. But this time, the chickadees stayed away, and only one nuthatch came and stood on the wire that attaches where I take the bird feeder off. He came and he sat on the line and he twittered to me. And so there I was, after seeing the painted nuthatch, I was able to stand there and meet a real one and to study her. And it was astonishing to me because I had never been that close to a bird. I could see the texture of her tiny feathers, and the color of blue is so amazing on their back. It did occur to me that the bird came because I had been talking about her. I gave my attention earlier that day to the nuthatch, but I also am sort of the always critic, cynical. But I think this nuthatch is showing me how this work works. The story gets better. Jennifer and I didn't get a chance to be on Zoom very often. We write a lot. I didn't ever take the time to tell her the story of me meeting the real nuthatch. So 2 weeks ago, she and I were at our visual medicine meeting, and we were basically talking about the same topic: where we put our tension rises up to meet us. The creation energies is how Suzette talks about it. They want to be recognized. They're showing us how important they are. And when we see them, they celebrate and they almost reward us. So I told the story in class about the nuthatch, Jennifer's painting, the real nuthatch that came to see me. And Jennifer, she started crying. And I didn't know if she felt badly that I shared something that I shouldn't have. I didn't know what it was. Later in class, she calmed herself down and she told her part of the story. She was at that time in Oregon. She was so check out the map. You can find me in Vermont. And Jennifer's way down there with the green dot down in Chile. Suzette is over there in the pink in London. So in that class, the day Jennifer was calling in from Oregon, where she was visiting her mother, who she has a historically strained and hard relationship with. But that morning, she had been sitting on the deck with her mother, who was just going on and on about her plants and house plants outside for the summer. And then she started talking about how special nuthatches are. Nuthatches, everything about nuthatches from her mom. So Jennifer felt like she got jolted by the universe, and that her message was that she truly is connected to her mother through this precious art practice, through this precious bird. So the bird she was looking at was a gift to both of them and pulled them together into this sort of mutual understanding that they haven't had for a really long time. And that's why she was emotional in the class. At the same time, when she was having this experience in the morning, she didn't know that I had my nuthatch experience the day after she showed me the painting. So here's this abstract painting that shows a specific bird, and there's our attention going into it. I point that out to Jennifer, and the bird is new to her, but now she knows it. And then the bird makes herself in real life known to me. And then without telling Jennifer, she makes the connection with her mother. And then I have a feeling the story is going to keep going. So I'm telling Janet the story, and we're realizing that this is a really nice, real life explanation of how this works. The creation energies rise up to meet us, and the fireworks go off, and now we see. Well, so I told Janet we decided we were going to put the story in our presentation for today. And then the very next day, I'll let Janet continue the story.
I do, the very first thing I do in the morning with drinking my French press coffee is the New York Times spelling bee puzzle. I've been doing it for years, and I just need to start my day doing the New York Times spelling bee puzzle, in which you receive 7 letters and you make words out of those 7 letters. What are the chances that on that day, the pangram, which is a word made out of all 7 letters, was nuthatch?
And did you know what a nuthatch was when
No, if you hadn't, I would probably never have gotten that word if we hadn't had that story. So I could see the nuthatch letters going nuthatch, nuthatch, nuthatch. And then I'm in this little community that gets together and talks about the etymology. I mean, you just can't have more fun than the New York Times spelling bee. I highly recommend it. Inside this little community, people are going, we've never had that word before. The spelling bee is 5 years old. It started online during COVID. This is the first time that nuthatch has been the panagram word. So you talk about proof that you are not the one making the decision. And that's how this map got finished. How did the editors of the New York Times, for the first time in over 5 years, decide that nuthatch, and here I am, it shows up through. So Kathy made this adorable map. And when she sent it, I went, it's a diamond. It's a diamond. And is this not perfect proof? There was no way the universe was going to let us go, well, okay, awareness leads to attention, and attention to reverence and devotion. And all we have to do is be careful what we pay attention to. Eterna's laughing and going, not even close, honey, not even close. So I am ecstatic to introduce you to the nuthatch. And so we both Googled, Kathy and I, the nuthatch is a very crazy bird. Now I think this fits. Why that bird? Why that bird? Not the swan, but which we automatically associate with the divine feminine. Why this nuthatch who has very strange behaviors? Well, then I'm doing all this research that we'll start diving into in our first learning gathering next Sunday, and then we're going to go into the goddess. And everything I'm reading brings us back to the goddess on earth. Did you know that her first appearance across and around the world is as a bird? So these early goddess figurines, the goddess has a beak, she has a bird face, and a feminine body. Or there are goddesses who look like women, but guess what's on their head? A bird. So there's so much going on in this adorable, adorable story. We're in for a great and wonderful and thrilling. And if I trust this story has taught you that you are not in charge. We are so not in charge. So here we are. This is now our mantra. Now, we would have to have like a white dot or something here where we're not putting our finger, something's going, maybe we could put a tiny little nuthatch right there saying, okay, become aware of me, give me your undivided attention, and I will give you my undivided attention, and together we will fall into real reverence and devotion. So that's the beginning of redefining devotion. Our next question in our beautiful first celebration is, wait a second, who's Eterna? Now, if you've been with us in previous, and I know some of you have not, but if you've been in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we always in our opening celebration meet our oracle. And we discover something about the oracle's name. So who is Eterna? Now, I know her name is Eterna because when Mystica came for ART2, she announced that she was an oracle. Okay, that was news. Kathy and I didn't know that we're oracles. Okay, this is good. And Mystica woke me up and told me her name, which was good because the ideas that Kathy and I had weren't so exciting. So, okay, it's Mystica and she is an oracle. And then the next night, they all came. They all came in the middle of the night, 4 a.m., and in a parade, a procession, they walked across my heart and they each said their name, just their single name, Aurora, Mystica, Origina. And so we have had this image as a placeholder. Kathy, I thought, came up with a perfect image for what we thought ART6 on devotion was going to be about, which was awakening devotion to the goddess, but it's much, much, much bigger than that. And her placeholder name was Oracle of Devotion. Now, it has been happening for a few of the last oracles that the oracle presents herself to Kathy so Kathy can paint her, but the oracle shakes me up with her name. And we were getting pretty close to our deadline for needing to create the entire landing page, and I didn't have the name, and Kathy sure didn't have an image. But I did know one thing. Calling Eterna the Oracle of Devotion was too small. Because you remember, Fortuna is the Oracle of Oracles. Well, wait a second. If Fortuna is the oracle of all oracles, then if we call Eterna the oracle of one thing, devotion, kind of felt like a demotion to me, and that didn't feel good, but I didn't know what her name could be. So she announced her name on May 14th. It came in the middle of the night. Her name is Eterna, her memory of life. I wasn't expecting any of those words. Who is her? What memory? Life? All life? What life? So you know, if you know me, what I did. The first thing I had to do to verify it was the math. Eterna herself alone is a 27. That's our witch number. Her memory of life is a 92. You put them together and you have what reduces to an 11 too. Do you remember the opening ceremony for, was it 4 or 5? It was 4, where I suddenly realized every one of our oracles up until that one, they all reduced to an 11. Excuse me. They all reduced to an 11. Only Fortuna was different. She's a 99, the last master number of the divine feminine, number 9. So when Eterna reduced once again to an 11 too, I felt like, I think we have her name, Kathy. I think we have her name. So Kathy and I got on Zoom and I told Kathy what I thought her name was, and look who showed up to completely confirm this is non-negotiable now. Her name is her memory of life. This blue light confirmation is always just beyond magnificent. So, what's life? Suddenly, we're not just looking at goddess culture, which is really comes to its fullness in the Neolithic and Paleolithic time periods, but life goes back 4.6 billion years. So wait a second. If Eterna is her memory of life, and we know that the earth is alive, the plants are alive, the water is alive, sure, humans are alive, but we're, I don't know, like a couple drops of sand here at the top of the image. So we know we're going somewhere we've never been before. Her name, her memory of life completely changed any ideas Kathy and I had about what we would be doing. It's not about devotion to the goddess. It's not about that, but it is expanding and expanding and expanding to the fullness of life. So here's what we're going to do. In our first gathering next Sunday, we're going to go to Crete, and you'll discover why. Crete is this last glorious bastion of matrilineal, matriarchal, glorious goddess culture. Do you know that the Minoans on Crete lived in a peaceful society with no war for, some books say, 1,000 years, others are expanding it to 1,500 years. We have something to learn from Crete. And then in our second, we are going to go back into the Neolithic and meet the goddess. The goddess everywhere in the world, all her names, all her images, figures with birds on their heads. And Kathy painted this to sort of embody. Look into her face. I feel like everything we are going to learn in ART6 is right there in her face. In our third gathering, we're going to go back further in time to the Paleolithic. You might not know this, but you're going to experience it and discover it. Shamanism and mysticism was birthed in the Paleolithic caves. The labyrinth was born in the Paleolithic caves. But then we're going to go back further, long before humans, because the land, the earth, is the source of life, right? And our guide is the magnolia. Did you know that the magnolia is 100 million years old? Dinosaurs slept under the shade of the magnolia. The magnolia is the very first flowering plant. And because she is so ancient, so original, this first expression of life as flowers, she was here long before bees evolved. Try to take that in. There were no bees then, and so she's pollinated by beetles. And we're going to go back further still. In our fifth and final learning gathering, we're going to return to Mother Ocean because all life was born. You and I were born. The fish were born. Everything was born out of the ocean. We are going to explore her memory of all life. And suddenly that wisdom, it wasn't a power structure. There is nothing in what we are going to explore that's a power structure. There are no hierarchies here. There are no weapons here. There are no wars here for millions of years. This is a reverence structure. So that still leaves us with one small problem. What does Eterna look like? What does her memory of life look like? Well, I gave the name to Kathy, but after that, it's up to Eterna to show her face, right?
It's up to Eterna, and then I have to be patient. So each of our archetypes have been really different in the way that they've presented themselves, and Eterna was very different. She was about being with her, spending time in my dreams and in my writing with her, experiencing her, not hearing her words, not seeing images, but being with her. I dreamt many nights of being in space, so much open space, unimaginable, vast open spaces. In my dreams, she got me used to not having an up or a down. And this, just this morning, connected me to the crazy nuthatch that's often upside down. There was no talking. It was absolute silence, zero sounds, but my own body. My thoughts, when I had them, crashed in like sirens or like a train screeching. A thought felt so obtrusive. It was too loud. And that over night after night and writing with her, that she was kind of training me to stop the thinking and just be there. So first came this experience of her, and then I was able to be with her when I could calm down. And then she took form. It made no sense to me. How can we have an archetype that's like a comet? I kept waiting for her to change, turn into a woman somehow, be something that we can relate to. And she didn't. And then she started interacting with me. Strands came out of the bright part of the comet. The strands started reaching out to me, and they started reaching out to us because everybody here was there also. So we all experienced this as a collective with me in my dreams. I want you to remember that we created this. It wasn't me, it wasn't Janet. We all were part of this. Her strands reaching out to us in different forms. These strands took the forms of light. Some were tree roots. Some were the pathways that the bees take. Some were in the form of a graceful serpent. Some were spilling dragon scales. And some were watery strands that reached to the deepest parts of our ocean, her home. She, Eterna, is ice and water, greeting the creatures of our depths we've never seen. Her strands, ripples on water that never stop, all gracefully spilling out the back of this comet. We each found our own strand and we held on. And so it begins. I painted her on July 1st. That day, no lie, that day was the day that scientists on the Earth discovered the 3-eye atlas. And quote from NASA, a water ice rich visitor that could be even more extraordinary than initially believed. 3-eye atlas could be around 3 billion years older than our 4.5 billion year old solar system, and thus older than any comet ever observed before. It's named Atlas because this was a NASA project that was taking place in Chile, another kind of bizarre coincidence. So that's where they found it. They describe her as being on a highly eccentric path. No kidding. She's racing across our solar system at 150,000 miles per hour. 150, you know, what does that even mean? I don't even know. So here's the picture of a Terna painted by me and the real comet. There she is, the most ancient body passing through our own solar system, distributing to us. Think back, her twinkles of wisdom. You can breathe in, we can breathe in her actual particles. She's losing pieces of herself in that dust that comes out behind her. This is not science fiction. Go outside and breathe her in because she's part of us and we remember. Here's another actual photo of her. This is her tail, a strand of colored rainbow pearls. You can't make this up. It's real. It's not AI. It's not in my imagination. It's real. So Aeterna, 3-eye atlas, unifying us. We all stand on this planet. We're spread out by miles, but we're under the same sky. Possibly the greatest gift of our lives, this remembering of reverence and devotion, the very fabric of creation that enlivens and loves all of us. Grasp one of her strands, grasp your strand that is part of her, and let's go.
So she was driving me crazy because she wasn't speaking. We're not.
And we had a deadline.
Yeah, it's like, and she doesn't care. She's not speaking. So Kathy, when did she? Isn't it just August 1st? She spoke to you for the first time. Is that right? And I made slides for what
Yep.
she said.
Yep.
Would you like to read this to us? Now, let me say before we put this up, this will completely rearrange your brain. So take a sip of water. Don't even try to comprehend it. I have sent the words to my assistant and it'll be on our resource page tomorrow. But listen, this is the very first time Eterna has spoken. Kathy, you want to read it to us?
I would love to read this. Just allow it to wash over you. From your shuddering heart, bring to me your petitions. I pour creation and will show you life. I am life. Through your keening, bring to me your joys and sorrows. With me, together, we enliven all that is. Plunge in your hands, grasp my luminous strands. I am not an idea. I am a vibration. Listen, listen. I connect all that is. Once you remember, you know unification. Then you transmit. We transmit. I am whole. And this changes everything.
And this demands water. And she is water. So don't try to understand it, simply drink it in. The water is holding her words, her message, her vibration. So we are blessed to not only meet her, her unbelievable name, her very first truly sacred message, but we also get to, in our opening celebration, have our first Visio Divina, make a labyrinth, and then rest in the labyrinth as Jennifer plays the song of the labyrinth, which comes from Sig Lonergan's Labyrinth book. So we're going to have our first Visio Divina. Kathy's going to lead us in it. But this is so different. Do you notice that on the first page, the first slide, she's, you could say, upright? But when Kathy and I got together on Zoom and I had my poster of her behind me, it had just arrived along with the journal, Kathy said, "Why do you have her upside down?" And I said, "I do." And so I looked. I mean, I really looked at her upside down. We can't do that with Aurora, Origina, Magdala, Fortuna, but we can. We can. And just like visual medicine, the more I looked at her, I don't want to call it upside down, with her other rotation, she's so different. There's so much here. So Kathy is giving us the opportunity in our first Visio Divina to follow where she wants our eyes to go, which we always do in Visio Divina. But this time, look at this. Kathy and I just did this. We put her together side by side 10 minutes before we opened. Isn't this magnificent? So
Are we ready?
Yeah, guide us.
This one's going to be a little bit different, of course. So imagine with me, you have inside you a vast, open, endless space where Eterna lives, where reverence and devotion thrive. Closing your eyes, allow your breath to take you on a journey inside your body, shifting your attention inside. Find a place, any place, that place of unimaginable space. Where is it in your body? Go there, where you can see the sparkle of the distant stars, the depths of the ocean, where you can experience all time. Your body is this chamber that contains only love, only wonder, and all the energies of creation. Her devotion to all of life is inside you. Where inside your body is this space? Now gently open your eyes. Allow your eyes to land on Eterna. Pick one place. You know what to do. Choose one spot and just look at it, study it, and then close your eyes again. Bring that place into that inner chamber. Breathe with that detail that you looked at. Imagine that you are coming into coherence with that place. You're starting to vibrate as Eterna vibrates. Open your eyes again. Let your eyes fall on that same spot on Eterna. Really sink in this time. Surround yourself with the colors, the textures. Close your eyes again. Fall into that place. There's no up, there's no down. It's completely quiet. Except listen, and you can hear your own heartbeat. Your heartbeat is in sync with her. And now you can hear her. Focus on that vibration, the beating life force that underpins all that is, in sync with your heart. These vibrations are in you. She is in you. She is with you, and this is unbelievably powerful. We will explore this place more. And for now, let's make a labyrinth. We're going to make the labyrinth, grab your seed pattern, and then we've done this before. We're going to put our hand on the labyrinth after you draw. Jennifer's going to lead us with her bowls into the center. There'll be silence at the center, and then the bowls will lead us back out. So place your pen on top of the blue vertical of the cross and create the center of your labyrinth by joining it with the top of the green L. Your pen goes on top of the purple angle and joins with the green dot. The purple dot goes up and around and joins with the bottom of the green L. Moving around, we put our pen on the bottom of the purple angle, up and around and over, joins with the right side of the blue horizontal line. The left side of the blue horizontal goes up and around and joins with the chartreuse top of the angle. The top of the orange angle, up and around and over, meets with the chartreuse dot. The orange dot on the bottom left, up and around, over and back up, joining with the bottom of the chartreuse angle. And then our last line, let's create the entranceway. The bottom of the orange angle, down and up and around, and closing our sacred labyrinth, joins with the bottom of the blue vertical line. So take a nice deep breath. Here we are in our morphic field. Everybody here now, everybody watching later. Place your hand on your labyrinth or put the labyrinth on your chest. You can put it underneath you, get comfortable. And I'm going to hand you over to the loving sounds of Jennifer DeVille Catalano. and be gentle. Come out slowly when you feel ready. We're going to deep soul right for several minutes. You've been writing, and we'll end soon. But in another minute, ask, what's a final message? Do you have a kiss for me?
Thus ends our glorious opening celebration, truly a celebration of reverence, devotion, eterna, and life. The first of 77 days. It's going to be the most magical 77 days of our lives. So now go in love. As we awaken, remember, and trust the memory of reverence and devotion. But it's so important to remember, as our Mobius strip is showing us, we are not the ones awakening. We are being awakened. Eterna is awakening parts of us we didn't even know we had. We are not remembering. We are being remembered. She is remembering us into the fullness of who we came here to be. And we don't have to struggle to trust any of this. She, the universe, life, is trusting us to come alive, to love life, to have reverence and devotion for all life. We close with the blessing of Isis, and Dandelion is going to read it for us today.
The blessing of Isis go with you, Queen of stars, Mother of grain, she whose tears are the rain, she whose embrace is the sky. Her wings of protection enfold you, her breast be your place of rest, her river with you wherever you wander, her river to guide you home.
Ohio to life.